Hello, internet people. I am the host of Give It the Beans. This is not a lab coat because I'm a scientist. It's a lab coat because I'm ridiculous. And this is a 2022 Toyota Tacoma Trail Edition. This truck is a no bullshit, only off-road accessories base model 4x4. It has only things added to it that you'll need out on a trail, hence why it's called a Trail Edition. And today I'm gonna get it up on the lift and see what stands this thing apart from a regular four-wheel drive Tacoma. So come on, let's get it up. That's what she said. This looks so much like Ford's Cactus Gray, but it's not. It's got a little bit more of a greenish hue to it, in case you're wondering. All right. Let's put on these non-prescription glasses that don't do shit to help me see better and take a look at this thing. Oh, that's interesting. They put like this little arrow stone guard on the bottom of the, why don't all pickups have this? That is pure genius, absolute genius right there. That's a hole, you stick things in it to tow stuff. It'll tow this much. You're welcome. That looks like something a cat would play with if you parked this in your garage and you had cats. You know what? It's the simple things in life I appreciate. Like when your spare tire is the upgraded Goodyear Wrangler Kevlar, just like the rest of the truck. They didn't put some crappy like 50 miles only spare on here. That's great. Also got a little heat shield right here on the tailpipe to protect the rubber from drying out. And that right there is what sets this truck apart from a standard 4x4 Tacoma. It's a 1/2-inch spacer between the rear axle and the leafs to give this thing extra ground clearance. What you don't get though is a set of Fox dampers like you get in the TRD Pro or some Bilsteins like you get on the TRD Off-Road. Instead, you get some Hitachis. You also get electronic locking rear diff on the Trail Edition. It's got a 3.9 final drive ratio because this one's a 6-speed auto, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Well, that's interesting. Hino Motors, that's actually Toyota's HD truck division on the rear diff. I will have to give Toyota some credit for making sure everything underneath this truck is completely coated for corrosion prevention and the fact that the exhaust is all stainless steel. But one thing I noticed compared to the new Frontier is that this does not have a fully boxed frame. You can see it is boxed up here on the front half, but as you get right here, it's open and exposed, and there is some weird putty seam sealer all over the place. I mean, look at all this up here, this foam. You can see the center carrier bearing area right here is a little bit more exposed also in contrast to the new Frontier. I'm using that truck as a point of reference because I just reviewed one not too long ago on my other channel. There's a link up above if you want to check that out. I gotta give Toyota a lot of credit for their OEM exhaust systems. I'm usually a big fan of them other than the style flange that they use, but this right here, where it kind of gradually steps down by the resonators and the cats. They do this on all their vehicles and it's pretty, I like it. This though, seems like there's gotta be a better way to engineer this, or maybe just a little bit closer tolerances. I don't think there's gonna be that much movement in the exhaust on this truck that it needs to be sandwiched so much underneath the transfer case heat shield. And speaking of that 2-speed transfer case, your high is a 1.0 to 1 ratio and your low range is a 2.57 to 1. It's a pretty rugged chassis bracing right here. And I like that the center section is removable. You can unbolt it. And unlike the Nissan Frontier, your front drive shaft is also coated in that durable black paint. Driveline wise, this is just like any other 6-cylinder Toyota Tacoma. This one comes with the Aisin AC60F 6-speed automatic transmission. You can get it with a 6-speed manual though if you want, which is awesome. The front suspension is similar with most other Tacoma models as a double wishbone configuration, but what's different and unique just for this Trail Edition is the coil spring is 1.1 inches taller. Additionally, you get some beefy steel skid plates on the Trail Edition. And just in case you were wondering, the front anti-sway bar, which is nice and pretty gloss black, measures in at approximately 30 millimeters, and there is no rear one on this truck. One thing that I need to point out though that is not supposed to be on this truck, I'm pretty sure here, is this little front lower air dam. Every bit of research I've done on this new Trail Edition, it's not supposed to have this. They removed it to give you added approach angle and ground clearance. It is removable with a bunch of 10mm bolts. It wouldn't take much to just pull this thing off, but I think because this is a press vehicle, it's on here for whatever reason. I don't know why. I can't take it off, but I just wanted to point that out. It does kind of hinder your approach angle. It's time for the braking test. No one behind me. Ready? Go. Oh, jeez. Whoa, that was violent. Holy shit. It was like hopping and bumping and dipping around. That was fun. It stopped in a decent amount of time. That braking was just accomplished with a itty bitty set of 273mm or 10.8 inch front rotors, but it's got a nice fat juicy pair of 4-pot calipers. I'm pretty sure that's the same 4-pot caliper they used in the prior generation Taco, which means that part has probably been in circulation for going on 20 years now. I don't know if I'm actually pointing at it. I'm pointing at the center cap. Speaking of center caps though, these wheels right here, fire. I love these. They're 16x8 satin bronze, and they're wrapped in a 265/70 Goodyear Wrangler Territory AT reinforced with Kevlar tire. Out back, you got a 10-inch drum brake. Still in 2022, it's got a drum brake, but honestly, like, there are some strong advantages to a drum brake over a disc brake, especially for a truck. The only real advantages you have with disc brakes is heat dissipation. And if it still works, stick with it. That's what makes these trucks last so long and hold their value. And out back, you got a square stance wheel and tire to match the front, which we're gonna see how you do off-road here in a second. I just talked to a tire and touched it like it was a squirrel. I've never touched a squirrel before, but now I want to. In the name of science, I am now going to give this Taco the beans. I'm going to slap it into sport mode and disable traction control. I also have ECT power. It won't really help with acceleration, but what it does do is keep your revs up, like if you want to have some fun on a twisty road. And then give this thing a little assistance and let it eat. Ready? Go. Oop, little tiny chirp. Go truck, go. Go truck, go. Come on, Taco. That's good. I don't know, it's just an adequate amount of power, I guess. It could use more for sure. This looks so much like cactus gray, it's not even funny, but it's got like more of a green hue, I think, than cactus gray. I like this color, it's a fun color. God, this hood is so heavy. Jeez, Toyota. I swear it gets heavier every time I lift one of these. Under the hood of this 2022 Taco Trail Edition is still the 2GR FKS. It is a 60-degree, naturally aspirated, simulated Atkinson cycle on demand 3.5-liter V6 that produces 278 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 265 pound-feet of torque at 4,600 RPM. A simulated Atkinson cycle on demand just means it's an auto cycle engine that is capable of holding the intake valve open a little bit after the compression stroke begins. Let's see if we can get a better look at this engine by taking off the plastic cover. That was the easiest plastic cover I've ever had to remove before. And it's got like some fuzzy insulation. That's soft. Yep, it's a big plastic intake manifold. That's about it underneath here. That's a pretty massive throttle body on this thing. You can get an optional snorkel with the TRD Pro Edition, and I would imagine it's a Toyota part. You could add it to this if you really wanted to. That'd look kind of sweet. Digging in a little bit deeper on this 4-cam 2GR V6, it does employ Toyota's D4S direct and port fuel injection system. It has a forged crank and forged connecting rods and is over squared at 94 by 83 millimeter bore and stroke. Also has a timing chain instead of a timing belt. I bet you could actually stuff a V8 in the engine bay of this generation of Tacoma. It's pretty roomy in here. It doesn't look like it'd be too terrible to work on this thing because of how much room you have. That's nice. Clip you into there. Oh no, I dropped my glasses on the top of the skid plate. Look though, like I said, there's quite a bit of room in this engine bay. There's enough room. I'm quite positive you could probably stuff a V8 in here from one of Toyota's in their inventory. I would imagine the 4.7 or the 4.6 would fit in there. I don't know about the big 5.7 though. I shall start off this off-roading expedition with watching some dudes on some quads. They're doing some tricks down there. I just conveniently set up my camera too before they showed up. I'm gonna put this little taco through a series of tests, and I came across a new hill that's super slippery. This is so slippery! And I wanna give it a shot. Now keep in mind, I am not taking any air out of the tires. It's at the standard inflation pressure. I'm gonna use 4 high for this because it's super slick. It's like ice. I'm gonna stay to the left so I don't get the tree branches on the truck. Oh yeah, this is gonna be hard. It's so slick. It's just like ultra compacted, dry dirt. So descriptive. Let's try 4 low just because this is so gnarly. Put it neutral. Okay, I'm in 4 low. Here goes, 4 low. Oh, wow. Oh, it does not care. It didn't care. It was just like, yep, let's do this. I'm telling you right now, this is all the truck you need. I think the TRD Pro is great and everything, but I bet you this will do 95% of the stuff that truck can do. Probably even more. I bet you can do almost everything that truck can do. Now, I don't have a trail camera that I can use for going back down, but what I do have is a button to electronically slide my rear window, and that lets all the vapors from my forehead sweat leave the back window. It's just as good as a trail cam. So you're probably asking yourself, what the hell am I doing right now? And I'm asking myself the same thing. And at the same time, I'm also trying to show you that this thing's got some massive coolers in the back built into it. That's part of the Trail Edition. It's kind of a brilliant idea for people that like to do outdoors things to have that big of a cooler just built into the truck. And you got the little D-rings, you can move those around. And they're lockable too, so no one will steal your sushi. There's another one on this side too. You could also use these things for tools, and there's a little less room in the inside of the bed, but it's a Tacoma. If you want something more, buy a HD full-size truck. I'm gonna throw it into 4 high real quick. Come on. Oh. I don't know what that looked like from the back, but somebody said that. Ooh. 4 high turning radius. It's kind of abysmal. No, I don't have hill descent control. I have a foot though. That's just as good. There you go. Look at that. Hill descent control. I'm using my foot on the brake. I'm sorry. I think hill descent control is kind of a useless feature. I just made somebody butthurt by saying that. I'm sorry. All right. I gotta try the infamous hill. I already know it's gonna do this no problem, but you know what? I'm gonna add an element to doing this. Since I already know a Tacoma will climb this hill, I wanna see if it'll do it in 2-wheel drive. I don't think it's gonna do it in 2-wheel drive. There's no way it'll do it in 2-wheel drive. Okay, 2-wheel drive, traction control off. There's no way. It's too slippery. There's no way it's gonna do this. I feel like it could. No. I thought it was going to for a second. Let me close my back window. I seriously think it was gonna do it. I mean, it did it better in 2-wheel drive than the Frontier did it in 4 high. I couldn't even make it that high in 4 high. Maybe a slightly different line. I feel like it might be able to do it. Come on, 2 high, you got this. No way. No way. No way. Oh, it almost wanted to do it. All right, I gotta go into 4-wheel. Oh, this thing's got heated mirrors too. I just noticed that. I also have a rear diff locker, but I'm not gonna use that. I'll use that as a last alternative if I need it. All right, that is insane. It made it halfway up and too high. I've had vehicles that are 4-wheel drive fail to even get that high. So here's the thing about this Trail Edition. While it is unique and nice, it comes in lunar rock with the bronze wheels. It's got a unique interior in here for this edition, which is nice. It has navigation and a power sliding rear window and radar cruise control, so it's not bare bones. SR5 4x4 V6 Tacoma is around $35,000. This one's $40,000. That kind of gets in a weird territory because the TRD Off-Road is about the same price, and then a TRD Pro starts not much higher than that. So it's a good deal, but I think Toyota could have did a little bit better by offering it on a more bare bones version. Just this off-road equipment on an SR model with a 4-cylinder and a manual transmission. Yes, a manual transmission. But make it as cheap as possible configuration of a Tacoma and then add all these off-road goodies on it and make it priced in the low $30,000 range. That would have been like a no-brainer. Oh my God, this truck is epic. I wish they would have did that. I like this truck, but it's weird price-wise. If you're someone that would be considering a TRD Off-Road Edition and you want something that's a little bit more unique, that 10, 15 years down the road will stand out a little bit more, then I would go for this because it's special. It's got appearance things that will set it apart from another Tacoma, and there's a lot of Tacomas out there on the road. So that makes it stand out in my mind. What happened over here? It looks like a cow area where like cows go to hang out. Oh no, this was like a fire maybe. Yeah, this is a little burnt. Oh no, 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 no. How did this all catch on fire? That was a big fire. That's sad. It is time to rate this taco. I have 5 categories, starting with the bean score as assessment on a 1 to 5 bean scale based on the feeling you get behind your belly button when you give it the refried beans. I just figured that goes better with tacos than like baked beans. That wouldn't be very tasty. Anyway, this truck right here is getting a rating of just the bean. It's all it gets, it's all it needs. It's not a quick truck. They should offer a TRD supercharger again for this. That would fix the problem. But it gets the job done, I guess. Next is the cookie score. It's assessment of what you get for what you spend. And this truck as equipped is getting a rating of 3.8 cookies. I think that's great value, and especially because it's a special edition. This isn't a TRD off-road model or a TRD Sport or a TRD Pro. It's just something different and unique, and it is trail focused, off-road focused. It has the right things added to it that you would want. Next is the mechanic score. It's assessment on a 1 to 5 scale based on how much of an ass pain something is to work on. And this truck right here is getting a rating of 3.1 wrenches. It's a fairly simple truck, fairly simple recipe, and hopefully you won't have to be working on it too much because these things got a pretty good track record of lasting. So next is the meatball score, and I have to be outside to give you that. So I'm gonna teleport real quick. 3.2 meatballs. This thing does phenomenal for what it is. I can't believe it almost made it up that hill in 2-wheel drive. Lastly is the penguin score. It is assessment of 1 to 5 penguins based on how much I personally like a vehicle. And the Trail Edition Taco is getting a rating of 3.9 penguins. I like special editions of things. They stand out to me as vehicles that when you see them 20 years later, you'll be like, whoa, I remember that. Those are really rare. And this is one of those things. I don't know if a Tacoma will be as significant as like a Honda S2000 CR edition, but it stands out to me because of that. And if this thing had a 6-speed manual, it would be right up my alley as pretty much one of the best possible combinations for a mid-size pickup truck. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you soon with another. Bye.